weren't able to dream. And I found the study quite interesting because for 2 to 3 weeks they put medication with these individuals and they didn't allow them to dream. And what they found out was that the individuals that weren't allowed to dream, they wanted to commit suicide. They had no purpose to live, is what they were telling the researcher. So I find that interesting because what that's telling us is that God made each and every one of us with the ability to dream. If we weren't able to dream, then we wouldn't have a purpose to do what we do. Those individuals during the research said they have no purpose to live. If you have no purpose to live, how are you going to have a purpose to break down a barrier or a challenge that you face in your lives? So I found that very, very interesting. So when you merge the two together, again, we're talking about how dreams break down barriers. When you merge the two together and you look at everything on this earth, every challenge that we face, whether it be at home, whether it be at school, whether it be as a community, in any different areas, we know, if we believe in God, we know nothing is impossible through God. And it says in the passage that God speaks to us in our visions and our thoughts. So what that is saying is that if nothing is impossible through God, and He speaks through us through our vision and our thoughts, it's not a surprise that when individuals do something or complete a challenge, it could be a challenging exam, it could be a job that they're going through, it could be a crisis they're going through, any type of barrier, not everyone acknowledges that it came from God. That's because of the relationship they may or may not have. But it clearly states that it's as a result of Him speaking to you in your dreams, in your thoughts and your images, why you were able to get the inspiration when you woke up to fight those challenges, and to fight those struggles, and to fight for that access. So who are some dreamers that we know of, currently and in our past? Some of them that come to name are individuals like Rosa Parks, individuals like Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, and of course, Barack Obama. I could stand here and name thousands of different individuals that have had big dreams, and those dreams broke down barriers. But the point is, before each and every one of those individuals broke down that barrier, they had that thought or image first. And it's very important that we acknowledge that. Before Rosa Parks decided to sit on that bus that day and decided to defy whatever laws that were happening that day, she had a dream. She said, imagine my people were able to sit anywhere on the bus. That was a thought she had first. And the movement created a revolution where now we were able to sit on the bus. So it starts from that dream. As a Black community, we've gone through, and as a race, we've gone through several phases. Phases that we weren't part of, but phases our forefathers were part of. And the 4 phases that we've gone through started with slavery. Then we went through the social phase. Then we went through the political phase. And now we're in the financial phase. So each phase started with a problem. That problem converted into a dream that individuals had. And from that dream, it created a movement. And from that movement, it created a revolution. And because of the revolution, it allowed them to break down the barrier and the challenge they faced in each of those phases. So I'm sure centuries ago, during the slavery times, there were individuals who were captured that had a thought. There was individuals who were captured that had an image and said, what if we were free? What if we could live our own lives? What if we weren't captured here? Those thoughts and images, individuals had it. Then they found like-minded individuals that were collectively having that dream. And because that dream that they were individually having was so powerful and so moving, they created a movement. And now today, we're not slaves. But it started off because that person had a dream. I'm sure after slavery, during the social period, there were individuals that were walking around and saying, we can't dance on that side of the hall because there's white people there. We can't go to that school because they said that we're not allowed. We can't drink out of that fountain. But what if They had an image in their head one day while they were sleeping. They had a thought. They said, what if we were allowed to drink out of the same fountain? What if we were allowed to stay in the same neighborhood that everyone else? What if we're allowed to gain access to what other people had? It started off with a thought and a dream. And that dream and that thought was so powerful enough that they gathered other people. And they said, let's create a movement. And now, we thank God that we're here. We're celebrating the 9th annual Black Voices Conference in a university. If they didn't have that dream, we wouldn't be here. We got to think about that. They had that dream, which was a thought and an image, that what if? And because of that, it was so powerful enough, they created a movement. And that movement of them and their people going, lining up, and voting like everyone else. It started with a dream. And that dream was so powerful enough that they were able to start voting. But it even gone further than